Sports betting has now gone very mainstream with an underground industry that was once considered a vice, now engaged in corporate partnerships and relationships with professional teams. Through 4 decades, Billy Walters was something of a legend in Las Vegas and sometimes called the Michael Jordan of sports betting. He got fabulously wealthy, including one Super Bowl bet of $3.5 million alone.
In his new book, Walters talks about his unusual life and also how his path crossed with golfer and gambler Phil Mickelson. It's called Gambler: Secrets from a Life at Risk. And Billy joins us this morning. Billy, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This is one of my favorite stations. I've watched hundreds of Cubs games here with one of my favorite announcers, Harry Carey.
Well,
all right.
Thanks. It's great to hear that. And I got to say, this seems like the book we've been hearing about for a better part of a year coming out, and a lot of it because of your ties to Phil Mickelson. Why don't we start there?
Well, Phil's a very minor part of the book, to be honest, Robin. This is autobiography of my life. It's Phil's 2 chapters of 28. The only way I could tell the story is I had to explain our relationship. He and I had a 5-year betting partnership. We had an 8-year friendship. Really, it's about as simple as that, nothing more, nothing less. The only thing I put in the book in regards to our relationship was the things that I needed to put in there to set the record straight about what truly happened through that part of my life, nothing more, nothing less. And it's all in the book. And frankly, Robin, I know as interesting as it is to the public, I'm really tired of talking about Phil Mickelson.
I bet you are, but for people who don't know, you went to prison and you kind of said that you wish Phil would have testified for you. That would have helped you, keep you out of jail, right?
I definitely did go to prison, and there's no question in my mind, Robin, if Phil had been a stand-up guy and just came to court and told the truth, as he said he would, and as he did on 2 previous occasions with interviews with the FBI, I don't think I would have gone to prison. No, I don't think I would have. And he didn't obviously come to court. He didn't testify for reasons that, that involved him personally. He was involved in another legal case that had been going on for a year prior to this that had nothing to do with me. And as a result, I think he bargained around and was able to make both cases go away. And he didn't come to court. He didn't testify. And as a result, I went to prison, Robin. And unfortunately, while I was in prison, my daughter committed suicide, and I remember things that took place. And that's what compelled me to write the book. You also mentioned in your intro about sports betting becoming legal. I started betting sports many, many years ago when sports bettors were looked at as the same way as sports bookmakers, and were looked at, with a jaundiced eye by a lot of people who didn't know better. And as a result, when I started betting sports in 1982 in Las Vegas, I organized the first group of organized bettors, people who were doing nothing but betting on sports. Unfortunately, I was indicted 4 times because law enforcement mixed me up with someone who was taking bets, bookmakers. Fortunately, I went to trial. I was exonerated on each and every occasion, but essentially, my life dream has come true. They finally legalized sports betting in the majority of the United States. And that was one of the reasons that I wrote this book, is everything that I know about sports betting, about sports handicapping, about the good and the bad that both goes with betting sports. It's all in this book.
Yeah. So
I wrote it for the average bettor and for the millions of people who are betting sports for the first time. And I wanted to share some of my past experiences, both good and bad, to help them.
So it's my understanding that you are the #1 best sports gambler in the world, and #2 is way, way, way behind you. So is this something that can be taught? What is basically the thing you do differently than everybody else?
Well, over the years, I spend millions and millions of dollars every year in research and development to essentially stay ahead of the game. I started off in the late 70s, early 80s with a gentleman by the name of Mike Kent, who developed the first computer software program to handicap sports with. Over the years, I've had 25 Mike Kents who worked for me, and I realized in the mid-'80s that I was going to need to continue to reinvent myself, or I was going to lose the advantage that I had. I've done that. But again, I spend millions of dollars each year in research and development in order to stay ahead of the game. Sports betting, I invest in the stock market too, and frankly, sports betting is much, much more difficult to win than investing in the stock market on a continual basis.
Why is that? Do you need to have tips on? I mean, I see some of these lines on games, and I'm obviously don't know much about it. It's uncanny to me how these experts know the lines on these games, and they're so close so much of the time.
Well, really, Robin, all I do is I bet my opinion against their opinion. I make lines on every game myself. I predict an outcome, and I bet my opinion against theirs. If there's enough of a difference between my opinion and their opinion, I'll bet. If there isn't, I won't bet. The larger the differential, the larger bet I'll make. But to answer your question, no, it's really it's the fundamentals that go into sports handicapping are, again, it's all in the book about how I do what I do, but it's really no accident that people are able to predict these outcomes as close as they do. It's just a lot. It's very difficult to do, but it certainly can be done. And fortunately, I've been able to do it for a long period of time.
Well, the book is Gambler: Secrets from a Life at Risk, and you can check out realbillywalters.com for more. Thank you, Billy.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.